I would like to add, yes, that I hope the program will become more applicant-friendly, especially for small applicants, for small NGOs, for small initiatives. But I would expect more, maybe from the next period, is more innovative projects. More to bring more innovation into every single project. We have some good examples also from current period, but really, if we see just making a road, there is not so much innovation in this, and it is my wish. And about talking about infrastructure, we had also discussions. In some cases, there is no need for infrastructure to improve situation on the border, to cooperate between people. But clearly, also we have very good examples of putting infrastructure like it is in Valka-Valga case, where we can see a clear sustainability of usage of this infrastructure for many, many years ahead, where both sides of the people can use this infrastructure, and this infrastructure is benefiting for them. Because we had experience in the current period that first both sides decide about the infrastructure and then try to find problem to solve with this infrastructure, and there is no sustainability behind that. Really, this infrastructure will be used in long-term perspective for the same purpose and for the both countries. Thank you. One more small one about the business, and also we think that more attention we should pay on business collaboration, business networking, clustering, the cross-border clustering, to create more trustful environment, and maybe it will be some of solutions how to bring business projects, business-related projects into the program. Thank you.
Okay, I believe that it's time for questions, and we have a couple of minutes. If we cut the one video, please. Sorry, Kaspars.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience, please? And maybe your name also, to whom you...
Thank you. My name is Vaido. I come from Tartu Science Park, and I'm not the bordering area in Estonia. And I have two questions, actually. And I will direct one question to Priidu, and I will direct the second question to Rainer and perhaps the whole panel. And it seems to me that we are trying to solve everything with Estonia-Latvia program and this cross-border cooperation. So question to Priidu would be that how does the Estonian state or the government see the Estonia-Latvia program? That it is a tool to solve what exactly? So that's the first question. And the second question, and as in the business they say that you need to disrupt everything. And question to Rainer is that if there was no border in Valka and Valga, would it make your life so much easier? And I will explain a little bit. Let's say the border runs in Riga or in Vilnius, and you have the same tax policy, you have the same education system, and would you have the same problems that you are facing today? Would it make life easier if there was no border as such? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. I would appreciate an easy one, but okay. Like I firstly said that it's difficult to say because we do not have the overall development strategy for the next 7-year period in place in Estonia. So it's very difficult to say that whether one or another program would contribute more or less, or what role it might have towards the strategy that does not exist yet. But on the other hand, it has been mentioned earlier that if we look on the overall picture, then those cross-border cooperation program, not only Estonian-Latvian program, but in case of Estonia, we have also cross-border cooperation program that we use for cooperation with southern Finnish regions and across the Russian border. All of those programs, so far at least, we have tried to keep more towards regional level cooperation and to restrict national authorities cooperating as less as possible. And if you look on the wider environment, then majority of programs, they are very much sector-based, and the role of national authorities is much higher. I would argue that these cross-border cooperation programs, they are regional programs in that sense, and they most likely will stay like it is. And the third one is I guess Rainer mentioned it, that it is really interesting that this Estonian-Latvian program, how it fits into the wider cooperation between Estonia and Latvia. And if you look on those reports and those discussions, I would argue that this program with its projects has a remarkable role within the overall cross-border, not cross-border, but overall cooperation between Estonian and Latvian institutions and authorities. So that I would argue that this program is somehow like leading instrument or the pool of ideas that should show some way for other authorities as well, that might not be located in the bordering areas or might deal with other issues. So this is my answer at the moment.
Okay, it was a good question, and well, I would answer to your question like that. Yes, things would be different. But if we didn't have a border running through the Valga, the city, so then it would be really different. Well, but one thing is for sure. Right now, thanks to that border, we have a peculiarity that is attractive for our guests. Then we wouldn't have it. But well, and to go on with the answer, well, have you met anybody from Berlin? Do you think Berlinians would like to have the wall back? Okay.
Meanwhile, maybe some other questions if we have time, but I have a question to you all. Maybe you just think about that a little bit. And we had today also a presentation where key development indicators were shown in the program area, so the high employment and low added value and people leaving the region. So let's think all together at what's the real chance of influencing these processes through such tools like these programs are, and how much we depend on these resources and how much we can do maybe without these resources. Anyway, do we have any more questions? One at least.
My question is about this business cooperation support. As it was mentioned that there are already different support measures which is offered by Enterprise Estonia and Estonia, but also this leader groups are offering and all over Estonia, and it's the same as in Latvia, I'm sure. So that's different approaches. Leader approach is bottom out, or down top, and this other are offering top-down approach, more or less. So how do you see where the Est-Lat cooperation should be in that scheme? Should it be more from up-down approach, or should we give more involvement or kind of freedom to these people on the field to decide what they should do? Is my question clear? No.
Do you prefer somebody to answer?
No, just...
Voluntaries?
Who wants?
Actually, I have a comment. There is no one clear answer because bottom-up approach could be used, speaking about Riga region, I mean really Riga capital and maybe Tartu town. But I guess speaking about entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs in a really border territory on both sides, I guess some motivation is needed. Because people are not so advanced, so maybe not so educated even, but not so active, not so strength in their emotions and wishes. So I guess some help and some motivation is needed from up to down too.
Very, very small comment. Regarding to those approaches on next programming period, for sure, at least us, we will try to get the ideas, proposals from bottom to up. We are ready to take all those ideas to revise, to give some proposals, some ideas, and then we will ready to come to national level and discuss about the regional scale or national scale or local scale projects. But regarding to business issue, this is not just approach issue. This is more, I think, the issue about the national legislations and regulations. And usually we faced with some state aid risks and with some problems. Leader approach, leader programs is smaller scale projects is more open for initiatives, different kind, different style, but usually those are very, very small. If we are talking a little bit about larger scale business projects or entrepreneur projects, entrepreneur ideas with cooperation, then this is question about the readiness from entrepreneur side and readiness from state level regarding to legislation. And if we will, on next programming period, we will give some improvements on national legislations, I think then will be useful to encourage entrepreneurs to participate in the program. Otherwise, I think we will get the same results as we have at the moment. If we are not ready to change something, then the results will be same. Because those national support systems or schemes will be on next programming period as well, and they will use, first of all, national level scale systems. They will use leader approach, and third option will be those cooperation programs. If cooperation programs are ready to give some input on ministries to change something regarding to involvement of business, then I believe that they will be ready active participation. It's not just question about education or readiness to write the projects. It's just do they see business potential through the projects or not?
Maybe two things that pop into my mind. First of all, someone here mentioned that in Latvia it tends so that the majority of business grants go to Riga region. It is the same in Estonia. If you look on purely figures, yes, majority of grants go to Tallinn, maybe also Tartu. And I guess it would be wrong way to think that maybe cross-border cooperation programs could solve this, and that we could give additional grants to this particular border region instead of national schemes. I'd rather argue that there needs to be proper division of labor between national support schemes and possible cross-border assistance. And what we have discussed in Estonia briefly with Minister of Economic Affairs is that Estonian national business support schemes are very much towards establishing higher value added, either through export promotion or through innovations, whereas, for example, job creation is not objective by itself. This might be very well the case for leader-related measures, where the focus might be on job creation and building entrepreneurial spirit or making people more business-oriented. For cross-border cooperation program, by the way, for the next programming period, we could have a cross-border leader approach within the program. In principle, it would be allowed by the legal framework, although I doubt whether we can manage in practice it. But for cross-border cooperation programs, there might be some very specific niches or maybe top-ups to the national grants, like maybe export widening to the other side of the border or cross-border networking of businesses and something like that. It is a small proportion within the wider context anyway, but the more focused it is, the better it could be.
Thank you. To conclude this discussion, might be said that we should like other games than Lego, so puzzle is very useful play where every piece should give some added value to the bigger framework. And also we should keep in mind our strategic goals and to try to target more on with laser. But all these serious aspects have a human dimension, and we are neighbors. And but neighbors also have better neighbors. And this is at least one main feature of Estonian nature. He always wants to be better than a neighbor. And to conclude this panel, I would like to read you one poem from a world famous Võru County poet born in Urvaste village. I don't know, is it eligible area or not? And excuse those who don't have translation, but interpreters are ready to do that. So, kontra. Kes küll vajaks nii häid naabreid? Hirmu, õudust, kes ei küli, kes ei käi su närvidele, ei tee tühjast asjast tüli. Keda õhtul koju minnes kartma ei pea pimeduses, kes su koduõue kaevu mingi hinna eest ei piiks. Kes ei lööks sul nuga selga, oleks vaid luba tal seda teha, keda siuke naaber huvitaks? No ütle keda. Let's be good neighbors. Thank you.